All right, I'm back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, January 24th, 2024. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Active traders killing it right now, guys. So get in on that action. Take advantage of that promotion I've been telling you guys about. 2 more winners today. And we're keeping that rolling into the month of January. Anyways, let's get into it here today. Oh man, what a tape here. So markets are, I'd say definitely, into bordering kind of on euphoria mode. Kind of touched on this. I've been kind of tweeting, here and there today. It's definitely looking kind of blow off-ish. So does that mean, I want to explain a lot of this stuff here. I might go on a little rant. I want to explain things. Does that mean I think we've topped today? Does that mean we can't go higher? No, it does not. You guys know, before, if you're new to watching this, before you get into the comments and start calling me a dumb bear, I've been in here for the last 2 months saying, BTFD, don't get too bearish. Give the bulls the upside bias. We should go higher. We should make new all-time highs. But right now, this type of price action, I haven't seen this kind of, I'd say since like November 2021. And what I mean by that is just the vertical move in NVIDIA, the SMCI, AMD. I mean, NVIDIA here is literally adding an AMD in market cap every couple of days. Like NVIDIA is about to overtake Amazon in market cap now. Just the vertical nature here especially the company this size and taking the whole market up with it on narrow breadth, Russell 2000 possibly putting in a lower high here. If you're a long tech, I would just, free advice, right? It's actually not financial advice, but it's free. It's free information for you. I would just trail stops at this point. So that's kind of where I'm at here. Maybe even put on a small hedge. I'm not saying short the market. Again, take a look at the volume. We are pulling back right now. Volume's light. We can pull back and still go higher. There's nothing to say they can't take this up to 5, but we're definitely getting into extreme greed territory. I did read that earlier. I think CNN, that metric that everybody uses, hitting into extreme greed. That doesn't mean it can't go on a little bit longer. But we've also got King Kramer. Why own anything but tech after ASML and SAP blow the numbers away? Let's see, Jim. Let's go back to July 11th here. Kramer says stick with his Magnificent 7 tech stocks. It's just so darn easy. Did anything happen right after July 11th here? Let's take a look at the NQ. We had a little pennant here. We broke out. Oh, there's July 11th. Oh, we shot up for about another week, and then we had to pull back for the next 3 months. So here he's saying that after this little pennant break. I don't know. It's just so easy. Just buy ASML. Buy NVIDIA. I mean, if you're telling clients to buy up here, you should probably lose your license if you're licensed, honestly. That's just my thoughts right now. Again, take it or leave it, but I haven't felt this way since November 2021, and I was short for that. And I was short December, the last week of December. We, went full on short and ended up, paying out pretty nicely. I'm not front running it this time. I would rather wait for high volume sell or some type of other sell signal. We have a lot of earnings coming up. We've got the QRA next week. By the way, 5-year auction was pretty poor today, so yields continuing to inch up. Dollar index inching back up after having a pretty good dip earlier. Nice buy the dip intraday. Oil hammering on 75. Let's look at some of these softs here. Corn coming into a big level there. That looks like it may have bottomed. Soybeans coming into a big level there. That looks like it may have bottomed. You guys know I like wheat. I think that's bottomed and starting to advance here. Heck, even nat gas up 9.5% today. Copper, up to over 2%. That's a big move for copper on volume. We have PCE Friday. Maybe that's telling us something here. I don't think, you guys know I've been on this train for a while. I don't think that, I think the market's way ahead of itself, pricing in 6 rate cuts. I think it's way ahead, the Fed's ahead of itself, pricing in 3. And if this gets through this area here, this is going to be a problem. Right now, the only one that cares is the Russell 2000. But, when will it start to matter for big tech? We have to get positioning to get one-sided enough. It's really that simple. Clearly, right now, we're not there yet. So the Qs, despite pulling back in the afternoon, Again, volume it's not terrible. Definitely average there, but we're not seeing it on the spiders. So again, to say all that, I'm just saying here, I'm definitely in caution mode. Definitely in caution mode. So if you own this, trailer your stop, maybe put in a hedge, something like that. But I think I've talked about kind of parallels between Jan 2018. The more we blow off, the more violent the corrective move is going to be. So take that or leave it. Feel free to fade me. I really don't care. It's not my business. I'm just telling you what I think, because this is what I do. Anyways, spiders here, SPX, let's take a look. So we will have some intraday support at 48.65, maybe even tomorrow. Again, even if we do come down, unless it's on heavy volume, I'd expect 4,800 and 47.90, actually even 48.20. Still to be major support. So we could even pull back here. And again, I've talked about this with the Qs. Look at the BB, right? We're outside of the BB by like 1.3% earlier today. So this could just be a reflex here. And, again, we can come in to this area, still put in a higher low and then go higher. There's nothing to say that can't happen. So again, not to get too alarmed here, but markets are coming in and we'll look for those support levels to possibly get hit. Tomorrow, Tesla is going to be reporting after the bell. I'll try to get that. Market closes in about 3 minutes, so I'll try to cover that as that comes out, if it comes out in time. But in any case here, market's pulling back in. And again, you guys know my thoughts. Just be careful here. All right, so Qs here. Again, pulling in. Yesterday's low is 420, so that would be kind of short-term support. If we did start to come down, again, you could argue that, above 410, you're still safe, and you're still above the 20 moving average. But again, a little stretched here, so a little bit of a reflex possibly coming into play. The one I don't like is the Russell, again, as, has been the case for a while. Let me put our lines back up here. Let me get that. There we go. So again, still can't get through that 197.50 area and hold it. Every time it gaps up, I'm like, okay, here's the Russell. It's finally gonna catch up, and then it does this gap and crap type stuff here. You don't want this to turn into a lower high. That would be a negative for the markets and definitely a negative for IWM. So we do have some support there at gap fill 192.50. Then you got the 50 MA where it could attempt to put in a higher low. But again, Russell's still not participating. It's all the Mag 7 show, and that's all it's been for the last 14 months. Diamond here down 0.25%. Nothing great, nothing terrible. 380 is still resistance. If we come down, again, you got support here at this pivot and then more at 370 and then the 50 moving average there. SMH here up 1.7. A little bit of a tail on volume. So be careful. Again, if semiconductors start to come down, it's usually a good leading indicator. Is this good enough to call it a topping tail? Probably not. It's definitely a pretty good candle with volume, and it's pulling back off the highs. Again, we got to 195, not quite to 200. There's nothing to say we can't get there in due time if we pull back into the 20. But looking a little stretched here in the short run. SOX here got to the 4,500 handle and then pulled back there as well. A little bit of a doji. I'd be careful with this. So that does look a little stretched here. That could do some backing and filling. Maybe even down to 42, 42.50 there for the SOX. So again, just be careful with these semis. They're in the stratosphere. And, when you go parabolic, you're on borrowed time. But again, just be careful. The biggest amount of gains are made in the shortest amount of time at the absolute end of the move. So keep that in mind as well. IGV also pulling back in. That's actually red on the day, down 6 cents. It was green earlier. Again, we talked about the 430 handle. We got to 428 and change. Again, kind of coming into these pivots right here. And that is pulling back. Again, that's still safe, as long as it's above 410. Back below 410 would be a little bit of a concern there. Dow Transports here pulling back as well, down 84 basis points here. Potential lower highs here on the daily. But again, nothing great, nothing terrible. We had a nice thrust. I like we got back above 15.7, and we're back above those moving averages there. So this can still just consolidate and potentially go higher. Again, nothing terrible, no damage here. I'm not trying to scare anybody or be, a mega bear, but, just be cautious in this environment. All right, so let's get on over here to interest rates. So goodbye, Jim Cramer. All right, so let's take a look at the 2-year first, as always. That's up just fractionally here today, but pattern-wise, it's not so much the amount. It was up pattern-wise. I like what it's doing here. Up move, we talked about 4.15 area. We got a bid here, and you're working on an inside bar on the daily. Nice test candle. Testing where? 4.25. And we got a bid off of that and bounce. So if this can base here, I think this works its way back to 4.6. 5-year here, continuing higher. So that long end continuing to come up. 5-year closing above the 50 moving average for the first time since November 23. 10-year above the 50 moving average for the first time since, again, same time, Monday the 13th, November 2023. So the 13th. And then the 30-year, same thing, although this has been above the 50 for the last couple of days. Again, into a little bit of a resistance here with the pivot. So that may need to back off. But again, these yield charts are looking a lot better here. If this gets going, I'm ultimately kind of targeting 4.75, 4.8 on the 30-year yield. And the 2-year, if that gets back up to 4.6, could be a little bit of a problem here for the market. But at least those curves are starting to fix themselves, at least a little bit. XHB today continued to the downside here, so down 1.5. Again, I've been telling you guys on the weekly, if it tries to break out, it's probably not going to last very long, and that's kind of been the case. Again, weekly still extended. Nothing terrible, though. If this just goes sideways here, the moving average can catch up, and then it can go higher, or it can correct through price and go down to the moving average and then go back up that way. But again, home builders coming back in here. They're very high on the hog. VNQ also coming in as well. We talked about these pivots yesterday. You don't want to lose those. So down 1.43% here on the VNQ. And we closed below that green bar. That's going to be a negative there on the daily. I think that takes you down to the 100 and 200 MA. Ultimately, your big level, though, is 79 to 80 bucks. So that's the big level there for VNQ. If these moving averages go, if these pivots go, these moving averages here would be kind of your short-term, maybe bounce levels, but the big level is right around 79 to 80. XLF here, again, looks like a lot of other things here. Up 16 cents, but came off the highs. A little bit of a tail candle again. So our level here, 38 and a quarter area, is holding for now. Again, it's a weekly level too, so just be aware of that. But again, still extended from that 20-week moving average, and it's doing some pulling back, although it was still green on the day. So definitely respect that. KRE up 1.16. That chart still looks okay right now. Same thing with the KBE. You guys know my thoughts on that. XBD here back above the 20 moving average, but still has to work on a higher high, which it does not have currently. All right, oil here up 1.38%, and it's going to close above 75 again. This is the highest we've been since the 27th of December. Guys, there's only so many times that this can get that the shorts can come in here and stop this. You have 1, 2, 3 higher lows on the daily. You've hammered on 75 3 times in the last 3 days, 4 times really in the last week, and you got higher lows. I think this is going up to 80 bucks. I don't think 78 is even going to be that much of a problem. There's so many shorts in this thing that if they concede 75, I think it gets up there pretty quickly. I don't think the market would like that, but right now, again, like I said, it comes down to positioning. So right now you're in euphoria mode. The market's ignoring the strong dollar. It's ignoring strong yields. It's ignoring the problems in the Red Sea. It's ignoring us bombing, Yemen. The market's able to ignore that, all that macro stuff right now. But face value, though, I like crude, and I think it's in a strong position now. I think it's in a much better position than it was a few weeks ago. XLE, nice bid up 1.5. We'll look for that to go to like 83.50, 84 here. XOP a little bit softer, up 1.3. Got to get back through this trend line here. If you do that, then it's in much better position. You guys know I like the OIH. I'm in that, up 2%. Actually took a little bit of profit on that today, so easy money on that trade there. We'll look for this trend line here. You got the 50 MA, 200 right in that vicinity. There's some gaps there too. So it could be some resistance, a little bit of headwinds here, 305, 310 area. But again, I like this not just on the daily, but on the weekly and the monthly as well. So I think this is a big level here for the OIH, and obviously otherwise I wouldn't be in it. CCJ here, again, getting a bounce for the second day in a row. So that looks all right here. Again, weekly chart is still good for these uranium plays. Just a little bit of daily chart overbought, so they got to do some backing and filling. Nat gas up about 10% or just under 10% on the day. Look at all these moving averages. I wouldn't even worry about those as resistance. Why? Because we just cut through them like they're nothing anyway. Maybe I would say 275 short term, and then 295 was your big level that we got up to a week ago. Next week we're gonna gap down about 35 cents. So again, this chart's going to be a little bit weird, but again, that little pseudo double bottom's holding, and I've talked about that as being a bounce level, and it's getting one there. So, all right, dollar index still acting well. So bullish inside bar is intact. We came down, tested the 50 and essentially the 20. And it was a little dire there this morning, but we came up all the way off the lows, and all in all, just an inside bar day. So that is still hanging in there. It might need to do a little bit more, but I think this wants 104.35. So nothing's changed there. That should still get up there, and dollar index looks good. Onto gold here. So gold backing off as well. Possible little lower highs here. If we take this pivot out, we're going down to here. A close below this green bar would be a negative. Again, you guys know I've been talking about this trend line. Maybe even a pierce of that to 1950 area are your short-term levels there for gold futures. I do think it gets down there. Silver, nice bounce, but it is pulling back in. I think it's probably not ready to break 22 yet, but I do think it does. Next big level here is around 21.50. I think that's a big daily chart level, though. Platinum here getting a small bounce, although it did just tick red. This still has got a little green bar here, though, so this could zigzag higher. And I think it does. Again, I do think the lows are in for platinum and palladium. Palladium up over 2% on the day. And the weekly here with a nice little double bottom there as well. So palladium holding up. Copper up 2%. We talked about that earlier on volume. So we'll see what that does here. Right now, I'll just say 392. And then then this kind of double top. If we get through that, you got the $4 handle. So nice bid there for copper. Pretty good outside move there. Did not expect that right away. Again, I think China has a lot to do with this. China doing a lot of stimulus, by the way. I can talk about that for a minute. Hang Seng, pretty good move here. Full disclosure, I do own a small position in China. Not a lot. I had to. There's hysteria going on. When I see hysteria, I got to buy. But double bottom there for the Hang Seng. Shanghai, nice tail candle on the weekly. If you follow through on that, I think this goes up to 3,000. Hang Seng, 18. So China looking very interesting down here. There's blood in the streets. So, but I do think that has a bit to do with copper and even oil and some of the energy plays running today and the softs. All right, Bitcoin. Sorry, I got to flip back over. So Bitcoin, where's our Bitcoin? There we go. Getting a bounce off the 100. Again, it's not a great bounce just yet. We'll have to see a little bit more, but it is holding where it's supposed to. Again, you guys know on the weekly, the big level here is 38. If we close above that, it is safe. If we close below it, then it's a big negative. So that's really all I care about with Bitcoin right now. I don't care about any of these daily chart levels. The big level to me is on the weekly, and that's that. Well, it's actually 40,000. There. So we'll have to see by Sunday night. All right, again, so markets here are closed, and we did back off by 50. Well, we backed off a little bit. We still closed green on the day. Looks like we just barely maybe kissed gap fill. Not a lot of volume. VIXY still upticking, though, into the end of the day. Again, I think, like I've said earlier, volatility tends to bottom before the market tops, kind of like how it did in the summer. Kind of looks a little similar to that right now. Again, I do think the market can go higher. I'm not saying it can't, but just the chasing, the euphoria, and even I'm getting some pushback here from even just suggesting that there could be a blow off here. And I'm the guy who's been literally saying, BTFD, don't get too bearish, buy the dip, give the bulls the benefit of the doubt. I've been saying that here for since mid-December. And now I'm getting pushback for just getting bearish. So, and I'm not even really necessarily bearish. I'm just very cautious. So take that how you want. Fade me if you want. I don't really care. Don't watch the videos then. But that's what I'm here to do and keep you guys on the right side of the trade. So anyways, guys, going to wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I will talk to you guys all tomorrow.